Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I am one of your hosts, Erin Medley, alongside Vicki Hyman, and today we have a special guest, Bobby Olivier, music reporter here at NJ Advanced
Who
Media.
we just caught chair dancing.
He was totally
to our theme song.
I am so happy.
It's all about the shoulders, guys. All about
shimmy,
the shoulders.
Shimmy, shimmy. I chair dance every week to our theme song, which I think is amazing, and I'm glad someone else joined me because Vicki's not.
I don't.
She has never joined me. This is our 23rd show, Michael Jordan's number.
Okay.
Basketball reference. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, and at Vicki High, VICKIHY, and
At Bobby Olivier.
that's right. You have multiple Twitter handles to follow this week. And you can email us, tvhangovershow at NJadvancemedia.com. I say it slowly because we don't receive any emails, or very
Rarely.
few. Rarely, yes. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. Vicki,
Yes.
so many things have been happening. One, my DVR is almost full. Again.
The what?
My DVR is almost full.
Oh, my goodness.
Again.
Wow, because I actually got mine down to 80%.
Really?
Yes, I don't know how it happened.
How did you...
I think actually I told my son, you have to get rid of some of these Simpsons episodes. This is insane.
I
We
think...
have like 40 episodes on there.
Yeah, that's a problem. Like, when my People's Court gets up to like 15.
People's Court,
That's
really?
right, every day.
Oh my God.
Judge Marilyn Milian, I record the People's Court. This is how I get all my
my
legal knowledge.
Okay.
I know, statute of limitations, small claims.
You can represent us in case we libel anybody.
I don't know.
In the People's Court. In the People's Court.
Yes, in the People's Court, absolutely. No, my DVR is almost full because I've been watching a lot of reality shows. I love my reality shows, and I've kind of been ignoring my scripted. Like, I'm about 4 episodes behind on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, as am I, actually.
Okay.
And I love it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And I didn't even watch Grey's Anatomy last week. I know. But I did watch How to Get Away with Murder.
I didn't.
And I can tell you...
They're still getting away with it?
that we are almost certain that Wes is not Annalisa's son.
I didn't think he would be.
But she somehow was involved in his mother's suicide by maybe, I don't know, some legal thing.
Okay.
I don't
know.
know.
I'm going to tune in again. I'm still going to give it a chance. But speaking of Shondaland, I know something we both watched this week.
What?
It was the advanced screener to The Catch, which we both really liked.
I'm so into The Catch.
I'm
For those
looking forward
of you
to this.
who don't know, this is a new Shondaland show. It premieres in March on ABC, and it is about a woman who's a private eye. Oh, I can give it away, right? Because it's not a spoiler. I mean, everybody knows this is what the show's about, the premise of the show. It's a woman who's a private eye, and she's engaged to a man. It turns out the man is a con artist, and that's sort of where the show sets off.
And he fleeces her and disappears.
Right.
But he still may love her.
Correct. And it's Peter Krause, who
From Parenthood and 6 Feet Under, in a completely different role, although maybe it's a little like Dirty Sexy Money role.
I was just about to say, it's very Dirty Sexy Money. It's very flashy. It's not like a normal Shondaland show. Like maybe a little scandal in like the first seasons where they do like the camera clicking or whatever. But I think this is very like flashy, a lot of graphics, a lot of like interesting camera work. I thought it was fun.
My one concern is that, how much of a, the crime of the week are we going to get into versus, the arc of her chasing after the Peter Krause character? I don't know. I'm very interested, and I really, really liked the first episode.
Agreed. I can't wait to watch more. In other news, you know what you can watch? America's Next Top Model.
The fastest reboot ever. It's like, 3 months?
No,
2 months?
2 months? It's been weeks.
Although it is going over to VH1.
It is. Deadline reports that America's Next Top Model will return to VH1 instead
not
of
return.
It's not really returning to it's returning.
Maybe reruns.
And it will be on VH1. And Tyra Banks will be executive producing, but she will not be the host.
No smizing.
No. Well, there will be smizing.
But not
Tyra-smizing. It will be a 14-episode season. And Tyra says, after creating an incredible global brand, I am beyond excited to have the show reborn 3 weeks after it was canceled. I will continue as executive producer, but must turn my attention to new business endeavors, which is basically the same line that she gave when she left that struggling talk show that was canceled. What is it called?
The Tyra Banks Show?
Yeah. What? No.
I don't know which
the
one.
talk show that's on The Fab Life. That's what it is. With Chrissy Teigen.
Okay.
And Josie.
Okay.
Vicky has no idea.
No idea what you're talking about.
Vicky doesn't do daytime. If it doesn't come on after 8 p.m., she has no idea. Well, anyway, Bobby, how excited are you that America's Next Top Model is returning?
Not excited at all.
He's secretly chair dancing again, but you can't see him.
Yeah, exactly.
The shoulders.
The only thing Bobby has to do with America's Next Top Model, or reason he would be interested, is that it's on VH1, a channel that used to play music. Bam.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
I did enjoy all the I love the 90s and 2000s and 80s and 80s part 2.
But this is not that. In other news, the television remake of Dirty Dancing has
Musical remake?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's not like a remake as in a TV series. It's it's another musical event.
Oh, yes. Musical event.
But not live.
But not live. Well, can I get to the news here?
Sorry.
They found their Johnny, played by Patrick Swayze in the original. Colt Prates. We don't know. Prattes. He will be starring as Johnny. You may know him from Pink's Try music video, which was actually a really good music video. And I think they performed that live one year on the Grammys or something. Remember, Bobby? Is that just me? It's the one where they're doing like the weird like acrobatics and like she stands on his legs and they're like dancing around.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Okay. Vicky's still blank face.
I remember her doing acrobatics, but not that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Like with the piece of fabric and all that.
Oh yeah, not
different
that
one.
Yeah, different.
That might be what I'm thinking of, actually.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I don't think there was another guy in that
talking
one. I
about.
thought that was single.
All right, fine. We'll
Anyway.
look it up after. But either way, he's a great dancer, which is clear. Whether or not he's a great singer or actor, unclear. You're already shaking your out.
You know, I mean, we just got off Grease Live, where I'm sure that the guy who played Danny Zuko, I cannot remember his name. I'm sure he is a very good singer and dancer, but he certainly lacked the charisma of John Travolta. Really didn't really bring that much to the part, and so I am concerned for having, the same situation happen. I thought it was a big hole in the middle of that production. Erin Tveit.
Yes.
Erin Tveit fans, I'm sorry. I'm sure he's very talented, but he didn't do it for me.
Well, the other reason why I think this whole thing is questionable, Abigail Breslin starring as Baby.
Although she is, Bobby, I mean, she's just trying to get a musical career off the ground, is she not?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think you're thinking of the other one, Haley Steinfeld.
No. I think she is, because I remember getting some tip from somebody from New Jersey who said Abigail Breslin stiffed him. And could I write about it? And I was like,
I'm sorry.
Can
you elaborate?
He was a musician who was playing on her demo or her record. So I know that she's trying to do something.
Allegedly.
Thank you, People's Court lawyer Erin Medley.
Thank you. Also, if you have a contract, you should write it down.
Okay.
Tips of the day.
So you're not a big fan of Abigail Breslin in the baby role?
No. Oh, yes.
In the baby role.
In the baby role, I'm not a big fan of Abigail Breslin.
Can you think of somebody else who might be better in the baby role?
Julianne Hough.
I just almost did a spit take right there with my coffee. No.
I think Abigail Breslin is too young. I mean, maybe she's not that young, but maybe, Emma Roberts.
I don't know. Emma Roberts seems to have a little bit too much edge from what I've seen of her. You've got to have some bit of innocence there.
Okay.
To play Baby. Smart but innocent.
I can see that. So you were saying that this will not be live.
That's what
They're
I read.
basically just remaking the movie for TV.
I guess so, and I can't really get excited about that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Why would we?
I mean, I think the live aspect of it adds a lot of excitement to the production, and certainly what Grease did, which is sort of taking it in a completely new direction and really reinventing this whole the concept of live musical. If you're not going to do something like that, I'm not really that interested. Although I love the movie.
I think. Well,
I didn't see the musical though. Did you see the musical?
I did not see the musical.
I don't know how different they are.
I don't know how different they are either. I do know there's like a whole abortion sequence. I mean, not that they actually show it.
Like,
spoiler alert.
What? Sorry.
No, but it's part of the show, and that was one of the concerns I had with Grease. Was like, how much are they going to tame it, or tone it down? And same question I have for Dirty Dancing.
Okay. Well, I mean, she gets an abortion and then she has complications because it's I can't remember, but I think it was illegal at that point because it was in the 60s and abortion was not legal until 71. So what?
Dropping that knowledge.
Thank you very much. That was Eurosport.
We'll get to that.
So I'm sorry, I'm not even going to go there.
Still watching vinyl?
Yes, I am still watching vinyl.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyway, moving on from abortion, I'm interested but not excited. How's that?
I'm in. When is this supposed to air?
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're very vague on a lot of things here. They need to get going. I'm just saying. I just feel like we need more casting announcements. We need a date.
I'm guessing at this point, if they're still casting now, we're talking the fall.
Yeah, probably because that's when all of these happen, and that's fine. One show that you don't watch, that I don't watch, that I used to watch.
Are we talking about what I think we're talking
We
about?
are. But Bobby watches regularly because
watch
it's his
it too.
job, and I think he enjoys it. That would be American Idol.
Secretly, there is a level of hatred, but for the most part, I do enjoy it and probably would be watching it.
So this is our final season.
Yeah,
season 15, right?
15, the big farewell.
The big farewell. I haven't been keeping track, but I've heard lots of good things about the judges, about the contestants. And speaking of the contestants, there's a 15-year-old New Jersey girl from Jackson named Gianna Isabella.
That's correct.
And her what's her real last name?
Patron. But when I interviewed her, she was quick to say, but Patron is a brand of tequila.
Correct.
But hers is spelled with the P-E-T.
Petron.
Oh,
Yeah,
Patron.
Petron. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it was
Thank
cooler.
you for clearing that up.
It was cooler
Yeah.
when I thought it was Patron.
Yeah. No.
Oh, all right. Well, do you think this Jersey girl has a shot, Bobby?
Honestly, no, not really. I mean, at this point, the problem is I think she's a little too 15 for the show. And
the show likes its 15-year-olds, though.
It does, and I think that's part of why she's made it so far. And the judges kept her around in the last round after a lackluster performance, in my opinion. But she has a strong voice. She definitely has talent, but she's really rough around the edges as far as control, and it's just. And she sung a lot of older songs. She needs to sing things that are a little bit more her age and her demographic. But, I mean, last year we had Jax from East Brunswick, an 18-year-old who was extremely poised and a great entertainer, whose voice wasn't the best voice, but she got to the top 3 because she was fun to watch. And Gianna so far has been a little hard to watch, but her voice is really powerful, especially for a 15-year-old.
Where are we in the competition right now?
We're at the top 14, and tonight, Wednesday night, they will start to whittle it down a little bit more. So it's tonight for an hour from 8 to 9, and then Thursdays 8 to 10, 2 hours. And the way that they're doing it, what I've read, is that they're getting it down from the top 14 to the top 10, and the judges pick the top 4 singers that they think should just advance. They sort of get a bye, and they don't perform in this round. They just go to the top 10. And then the remaining 10 singers out of that 14, they perform, and then America votes on them, and 6 of those 10 go through. And from what I've read, Gianna is not one of the top 4. So Gianna will be singing.
She has to perform. And then the people have to vote her in.
Yeah, and exactly how that's working, I'm not sure if all 10 are going tonight. I really hope so. But then I don't know how they're going to go through with the 2 hours tomorrow. I'm not sure if they're going to reveal the results and then the top 10 would perform after that. I don't know. They've changed everything, and they're finishing the season in April this year, not May like every other year. So everything is being abridged like a little bit.
So are they going to be getting rid of like 2 people a week?
I don't know. I mean, if you do the math, once they get it down to the top 10, and we'll be, the end of February, I think they'll be able to do it fairly traditionally after this and do one by one.
So Gianna is the one whose mother Was Brenda K. Starr?
Correct.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so
right.
exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she has.
Can you sing the song?
I still believe someday you and me.
Was
Beautiful.
that her one song?
Yes,
Did she
I
have
think
more?
so. I don't think she had any other hits.
And the thing is, she's still. I mean, I went to the family's house. They have a beautiful home in Jackson, and talked to the mom, and she's still involved in performing and still does benefits. And she actually got involved in like Latin and like salsa music afterwards. She's bilingual, and yeah, she's sort of been doing that for a while. And then Gianna's dad works nights. He's a corrections officer.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get Brenda K. Starr on the show? Bobby, use your connection.
Real life.
Yeah.
So do you have your eye out for anybody in particular this season?
Yeah, I think that the top 4 that they're moving through that are sort of getting the bye, as far as I've read, all have a pretty decent shot right now. The LaPortia Renee, who I believe is 21 or 22.
That is a name that
Yeah.
screams superstar.
Portia
Yeah,
Renee.
she is sort of a big, loud, sort of church kind of singer, and she's been probably the biggest like showstopper so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this kid Dalton from Texas who looks like a Green Day member or fan.
So
He's
not
like
a country kid.
No, he's like a pop rock kind of guy, and he was in like a somewhat successful boy band before this. So he's got a really
Which one?
it's like a series of letters and numbers. I don't know.
What? Now I have to
Yeah,
look it up.
Google it.
Wait,
Dalton Rapatoni.
4PQSK.
Yeah, QWERTY keyboard. But he's really fun to watch, and he's had some good performances so far. And I think that so far at this stage, I think it's been better. The level of talent, there's more actual contenders this year, I think, than last year. Last year was sort of a fight between Jax from New Jersey and then this other guy, Clark, who ended up finishing second to somebody who came out of nowhere at the end, Nick Fradiani, who I will go on record saying is the worst American Idol winner ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember that there's a guy named Taylor Hicks?
No,
Oh, yeah.
Taylor.
The thing is, Taylor Hicks was a good singer,
Thank
though.
you. He could
and
actually
a good performer.
sing.
Like Nick Fradiani, like I would love to see how far he would have gotten for like 5 years ago. He was just like a bar singer who happened to pick some good songs at the end. It was sort of the Chris Allen thing where he beat Adam Lambert right at the end. He just sort of had the arc.
But I like Chris Allen. I thought he was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, but I think he was better than Nick Fradiani. But it was a similar kind of thing.
Got it.
Where one guy's going the whole way, wire to wire, the favorite, and then sort of can't finish it off.
This Dalton kid was in the group IM5,
Yeah.
which I have never heard of, probably because I'm over the age of like 14.
Yeah.
It seems very Disney radio. Yeah, so that's okay. So, Bobby, you'll be watching American Idol.
Yep.
You are welcome here anytime to talk to us about the potential superstars, even if they're not from Jersey.
Okay, great.
And your entry pass to get back in is an interview with Brenda K. Starr.
I'm sure she'd probably be a good interview.
I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of interviews, we have an interview coming up shortly with SallyAnn Salsano, who is the creator of Jersey Shore franchise.
Yes.
And
near and dear to our hearts
Oh,
here in New
near and
Jersey.
dear to our hearts. She's talking about her new show, The Mother-Daughter Experiment.
Celebrity Edition.
Celebrity Edition, which will be airing soon on a network that I can't recall right now.
Called Lifetime.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
My brain.
Beginning of March.
Beginning of March, that's right. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about Fuller House, which is the reboot of Full House, a favorite of children who were born in or grew up around the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. But before we get into that conversation, let's listen to the new rebooted theme song.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart. Everywhere you look, somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look.
When you're lost out there and you're all alone. Vicki has no idea what's happening. This is like the musical accompaniment version. This is the like sing it
It's a
yourself
story of a man named Brady.
Oh, no.
That's my jam.
Well, I can sing that one too. One day we're gonna do a theme song sing off, but
You will win.
you probably. I know a lot of TV theme songs.
I thought you meant like quality of vocals.
Oh, please. Negative. I am so, well, let me rephrase. I was so excited about this reboot.
And then you saw it, right?
then I watched
Oh my God.
it.
Okay, so I watched 2 episodes. I watched the pilot and the second episode. What
Okay.
did you watch?
I watched the pilot, the second episode, and part of the 4th.
Why the 4th?
Because I couldn't get the 3rd to play. And I didn't think it really mattered.
Let me spoil it for you. It ends with the group hug, I'm sure.
I'm sure it does. So here I actually wrote down a list of things I wanted to discuss, and Vicki knows that I never take notes, but
No, she doesn't.
I did take notes on Fuller House. So I think the one thing that they do wrong, and there are some things they do right, but the one big thing that they do wrong in the pilot is that there are too many callbacks to the original. Did you watch the original?
No, I mean the original pilot or just
Like,
episodes
no,
of
just the original series.
I have seen, I guess, snippets of the show, but as I was saying earlier, I didn't even know that like So Rude was a thing. I kind of guessed it was.
Blasphemy.
I know.
I
right?
kind of guessed it was,
Cut
and then
it out.
No, I didn't even
Oh
know
my
that one.
gosh.
And
Have mercy.
I was
can do
guessing.
this all day.
I mean, I was guessing that there were like Elvis references and like Kimmy Gibbler's name was a thing. Okay, I have to say, I do not. Can we just say, what is the love for Full House? I don't get it.
It was a different time.
Right.
It was a different time. But I mean, you recognize that it was not great television, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even at the time, it was considered great
let's
television.
Roll it back. Let's roll it back. The show premiered in what, 87, you said?
87 to 95, I believe.
To which we established prior to this podcast recording that Vicki was in college.
Yeah, I went to college in '89, so I never really. It wasn't my thing.
Bobby, you
was
were
too old
born
for it.
in.
89.
Oh,
Bobby was
me.
born.
That's a different show.
That is a different show. I was 5 when it premiered, so this is like really in my wheelhouse. It's a show. It was just a wholesome family show with like funny situation comedy, funny situations, and it wasn't meant to be Emmy-winning television. That's not what it was. It was just supposed to be light, fun family.
But there were
comedy.
so many of those. I don't understand why
And
this
they
one
packaged them
rises to the
together, and it
top.
was called TGIF.
But why
Yeah.
this one?
Why this one? What?
Why did this one rise to the top when they said we need a reboot of Full House? This is the one.
Well, there's a lot
as
of
opposed to anything else.
There's a lot of nostalgia, and I mean, there were so many characters. I mean, there was a lot of people to follow, and I think it did transition. I mean, as a '90s kid, I mean, the reruns were on. They were inescapable, and I mean, I've seen a lot of Full House, even though I probably didn't see pretty much any of it on its first run, but. Yeah, people. It just kind of goes down easy. Like Boy Meets World got the reboot.
Another show that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, and that show wasn't any heavier than Full House was.
Are you watching Girl Meets World? That's the reboot.
I
right?
watched a few. I've watched more episodes of that than Fuller House.
Okay, so this is my question. It's like,
Yeah.
so I can understand like doing an event, a reunion 20 years later. I mean, God knows I watched the Brady Sisters when it came back for one season, but like as a continuous thing. There is so much good television out there. Are you going to sit there
There's
and
not
like
so
watch
much.
this?
There isn't so much good television out there for young kids
Fine.
that are not cartoons.
Agreed. I'm saying as an adult because a
But it
lot of this
doesn't
is geared towards you. A lot of it is
no,
geared
let me
towards
tell
you.
you though. Disagree slightly. It's geared towards me, but it's geared towards me as a mom with children. Now I don't have any children, but if I did have children, it would be a show that I would sit down and watch with my children because I enjoyed it when I was a child, and I would think it was good enough for them to enjoy. That's why they're targeting that particular demo.
I think, there's Modern Family. I mean, there are other shows you
Not
can
the
watch that are
same.
so much better. I mean, I watch Modern Family with my kid.
I don't.
I wouldn't
but
watch Fuller House with him.
I would
Yeah, but
say
he's
for
13.
I would say for like 10 or younger. I don't know if I would get Modern Family.
Correct.
I don't know if I would sit there and watch it.
My son loved it from the very beginning. He started watching it when he was like 9. That's when it came on.
Well, maybe he's more
But
sophisticated
but the thing
than
that's
the
great about
average
Modern
kid.
Family is that it's like a lot of these movie like the Pixar movies, whatever, where there's jokes for the adults that the kids won't necessarily get, and you don't have to explain it to them because they're just like it'll just fly by them.
Right.
So, I think it's great for
sometimes-
Modern Family.
But sometimes
Full
kids
House
wanna get the
would
jokes.
make me like bleed out my ears.
Well, I will say the pilot or whatever we're calling it of the reboot was chock full of nostalgia, which you probably didn't pick up on most of it because you didn't really watch the show. So me watching it as someone who watched the original run, who's seen every episode at least 5 times, I picked up on all of it, and it was like constant. It was every other minute there was some callback, like the woodchuck that Joey uses. There was that. The Have Mercy, when Steve shows up. There's so many things that were callbacks that you just didn't get. So for you, it's probably cheesy. For me, it was like, oh, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish the connection from old to new.
No, I do get that, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't have kids, would you keep watching this? Would you spend your valuable time watching this show if you didn't have kids?
No, and I don't think they expect you to.
I think they do expect some people
I
just
really
to watch
don't.
it.
I think they're trying to bring in the new generation. I think it's the same thing with Girl Meets World. They're trying to bring in the younger generation. Vicky's not buying it.
I'm not buying. I mean, I think that there's enough good television out there for parents to watch with their kids, and I think kids watching it these days. I think comic sensibilities have matured, and I think even like younger kids get that.
Yeah, but let me tell you something about the kids on this show. Like the daughter of Kimmy Gibbler, she has a fresh mouth.
Yes.
And you know what? And I
didn't actually mind her.
Of course you did.
But I hated the second son.
The one that likes to clean.
Yes,
that's a
I could
callback
not
to the
stand
original because Danny was an obsessive cleaner.
Oh my god,
that's like the whole thing.
So, as someone who hasn't watched this, how have they explained Michelle not being there?
Oh, so it's funny.
That is actually the one thing I laughed at.
In the first episode, they go, "Oh, Michelle's sorry she couldn't be here. She's like running a fashion empire in New York," and they all turn to the camera
and just stare.
and make a face,
which I got. And I thought was very funny. And they did a similar thing, I think, in the second episode, which is the only time I laughed in the second episode.
Right. So there is some callbacks. So wait, let me get to my positives.
Sorry,
my positives are Eva LaRue plays Danny's wife, and I love Eva LaRue. You guys have no idea who she is, but she used to be on All My Children a long, long time ago. I think the baby is adorable. And the baby is
Baby's actually a good actor.
The stand-in, yes, totally, for the Michelle character. So now they have a new baby, and the baby is so cute. Lori Loughlin looks like she did 30 years ago.
John Stamos looked like he aged 20 minutes.
Yeah.
True. You know what? I think they actually all look pretty darn good. They brought back the twins, Nikki and Alex, as adults or college students. I love the city of San Francisco. So
do they ever leave the house?
No, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those were the good things. Oh, and I really like the opening credits because they do something that they did on the show Parenthood, where they show the actors and like what they look like back then and then what they look like now. And I really enjoyed that, so I could watch that.
Although
every
it's
time.
done much more beautifully in Parenthood.
It is.
Yeah.
And the song.
I love
better.
the Parenthood open credits.
I agree.
Is it like Roseanne?
Yes, but didn't they do like a face metamorphosis? Yeah, they didn't do not that.
I mean, isn't it like a classic like 80s sitcom opening where they come out and smile at the camera and put their hands on their hips?
Right, because that's how it was.
Okay, all right.
You just gotta let this one go.
Okay, Vicky's not
just
not
let
really
everyone else
understanding
enjoy
what's
it,
happening
and
here.
you don't have to watch it.
She's not understanding. I would say the one thing that I think they could have done better is that the show is just too long. It's too long. A sitcom on television minus commercials is 22 to 23 minutes.
It's actually less these days.
And it may be less these days, but the first episode was 36 minutes.
The second one was only 24 minutes, though, I think.
It was a little longer than 24.
I was looking because I was like, please let this be over soon.
Even those 4 or however many minutes too long. It needed to be shorter and tighter, and I think that would make it better. But you know what? I may finish up the whole thing. Why not? I'm already on 4. It's only, 6 episodes? How many? 8? 10? 12?
I don't know.
We don't know.
10? I don't know.
We'll see. So I guess the consensus here is that Vicki is a pill and doesn't like any 80s comedies.
That's not true. That is not true.
Name an 80s comedy that you enjoy.
Well, I mean, for kids? A family comedy?
Family.
Cheers.
Not a family comedy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you just said not a family comedy.
Oh, no, I want a family comedy.
A family comedy. I can't even think of any. I certainly, the point is, like, I enjoyed it then. I don't want to watch it now if there's been nothing to, like, okay.
Agree.
Can we go back to the Brady Bunch for a second?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Love the Brady Bunch. Like, when I was watching, when I in my day, there were.
Before we were born.
There were, like, 5 stations.
Yeah.
And
a
we were.
rotary phone.
Yes. There were. Thank you very much.
No area codes. No area codes.
No, there were area codes.
You just didn't have to use them because there weren't as many people.
That's true. Yes.
Yes, there
We
were
only
5
had to
people.
dial
on
the
Earth.
last 4 digits.
Anyway, so
Yes,
there
Vicki.
wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of television. I didn't watch Brady Bunch in its first run, but I grew up on the reruns.
Yeah.
and I loved it.
Me
And
too.
when they came back with the movies, I thought it was really clever because it was like
The movies in the 90s?
Yeah, the movies in the 90s.
Okay.
It was very clever. They took the Brady Bunch and made them the same, but living in the modern day. And so they're doing something new and
But that
different.
was a spoof.
It
Those
was
are
a
spoof movies.
It was, but I think I'm just saying, like, they
Okay.
did something interesting and new to it. And here, it's like there's nothing. It's just exactly what it was. And if kids want to watch it, great. I can't imagine adults watching it on their own. I just really can't. I don't think you're going to stick with it.
I don't think adults will watch it on their own.
You just said you were
Except
going
for you.
to.
Oh, well, I did because I already started
I'm not
it.
really an
We
adult.
talked about last week I don't have any kids. I talked about last week how I'm very loyal. I don't think the show belongs on Netflix. I think it should have been a Disney Channel show a la Girl Meets World. That I can agree with.
I can
Agreed.
sort of
Yeah.
agree with that too, actually.
Yeah, then it's different. But I love my Disney Channel shows. One day we can talk all about Lizzie McGuire and Hannah Montana and all of Even Stevens.
I'm busy that
Actually,
day.
even Stevens, I have seen a couple of episodes of because it starred
Shia
Shia
LaBeouf,
LaBeouf, who was so
won an
awful
Emmy.
in it. He was so awful in
He
it.
won an Emmy.
Oh, my God.
That was and that Carly Rae Romano girl that no one's heard from since. All right, well, now we're gonna now that we've talked about that and slandered Fuller House, if you guys watch it, please let us know what you think of it. Tweet us at TV Hangover Show, at @E_meds, at Vicki High, and at Bobby Olivier. Now we're going to listen to our interview with SallyAnn Salsano, creator of Jersey Shore, the new mother and daughter experiment, the Celebrity Edition. I think there are a lot of extra words in that. I believe it's mother-daughter experiment, Celebrity Edition. So let's take a listen to that interview.
Hi, I'm here with SallyAnn Salsano, who is the creator of the Mother-Daughter Experiment Celebrity Edition on Lifetime, starting up soon. And she also is the creator of Jersey Shore and Party Down South, which is beloved around our audience, our offices here. How are you doing, Sally?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
We are good. We're
Hi,
very excited to
Sally.
speak to you.
Very excited.
We covered Jersey Shore from the very beginning. I had an interview with Snooki and Mike and Jenny before the show ever aired, which was a hoot. I was wondering, for reality shows, is it like 99% casting?
People, that's like the obvious thing. People are like, you need a good cast. It's like, yeah, duh. But on top of that, I also think one of the most important things is trust. I really believe that, like, the cast has to trust you, and I have to trust the fact that the cast is, saying that they are who they say they are, and that they're acting honestly. So I think trust and good casting is the perfect combination.
And with Jersey Shore, did you expect it to be the, water cooler hit? It launched actually, several careers. Snooki, Jenny, JWoww still going strong. Did you expect that to happen?
You know what? You never know. I would say for me it was a little bit weird because no one knew what I was talking about. Like, listen, I'm an East Coast girl that grew up going to the Jersey Shore. I went there and, like, let's just say if there were cameras in my house, it would have looked very similar to what was going on MTV. That being said, no one knew what I was talking about. Like, even in my office, people were like, what's a Guido? I'm like, what's a Guido? I was dying. I'm like, who are you people? And I was like, me, I'm a Guido. We were, like, screaming. But, like, the fascination of it, I don't think I was ready for it to catch on the way it did. I thought maybe it would be, like, a little bit of, like, a little cultural hit, meaning, like it would have, like, that cult following in a way that, like, Arrested Development and shows like that do. That was the best that I hoped for, and then it just totally took off in a whole other direction.
I read an interview where you said that the Party Down South cast was the most grateful cast you had. Was that a slight at Jersey Shore? Are they not grateful?
No, everyone's grateful. I just think Southerners are different.
They are.
They are different.
You know what I mean? I just think it's different, and I just think it's different.
Okay, well, we'll stop there. I was wondering, when you have a show where you're casting unknowns, and then you have a show like the Mother-Daughter Experiment Celebrity Edition, do you look for different things in the cast? I mean, what are you looking for when you're casting a celebrity show like that?
No, I think it's exactly the same. I think for me it goes back to the trust and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are two things that you need in order to make a good show. And without trust and honesty, you're kind of screwed.
I think, this is Erin. Hi, Sally. I think that with your cast for the mother-daughter experiment, we have Kim Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Heidi Montag, she was on The Hills, Natalie Nunn from Bad Girls Club. There are a lot of these women or celebrities were on reality shows before. So does that make it easier to trust them because you've sort of seen what they can do or what they'll say in front of the camera?
Does it make it easier? No, I think that they wouldn't show up if they didn't know what the show was. I think that anytime you put someone on a reality show for the first time, you try and tell them exactly what it's going to be or what it's going to be like for sure, but I think you don't actually know it until you're on it. It's an experience you actually cannot describe to another person. Like, it's just like, until you've done it, it's hard to say. But, the interesting part is these guys all kind of have been on shows before, and we're like, oh, sure. But I will tell you, when they showed up, I think it took them by surprise how it made them feel. And I will tell you, although you've seen Heidi, you've seen Kim Richards, you've seen all these people before, I personally, and I'm a person who's literally at the airport right now buying my Us magazine, my OK, In Touch. Like, I read those things cover to cover as if it is the word of the Lord. But I learned about each one of those characters in a way I never had before. Because it's different. Like, if you go out to dinner with your friends and you act a certain way, right? Like, that's what it is. But then all of a sudden you put your mom at the table. Are you still going to act and do the same thing?
Right. Is Natalie Nunn running around the house saying she owns L.A.? Because that was her tagline on Bad Girls Club.
Correct. Is she doing that with her mom there? And if she is, how is her mom reacting? And by the way, how are these moms living in that environment? I had cameras wired in every single room. Like, there's stuff everywhere. Like, that's not how the housewives are shot.
Right.
So for everybody, it was kind of a different experience. Like, what do you mean there's cameras everywhere? That's not how the Hills were shot. It was all, like, set up little scenes. So for some of them, although they've done reality shows, I don't think they've done, like, do you want to get some magazines? I don't think they've gotten some, like, 24/7 reality in the way that I think I'm used to shooting it.
You did a mama drama on VH1. Does this sort of build on that? And why did you think that there's enough? I guess maybe is your relationship with your mother such that you knew there was going to be a lot of drama in the situation?
Here's what I will tell you. This show was really hard for me because my mom passed away just about 3 years ago, and my mom was legitimately like my best friend in life. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, my mother and I still could have been on this TV show. Because I believe that mother and daughter relationships, even when they're wonderful, are still complicated.
Absolutely.
Like, we're women, we're emotional, we're all a little nuts.
we are all a little nuts.
That's what I mean. And when you watch this show, it's like, the problems are not like, oh, I'm a celebrity, my life's so hard. That's not what this is, which is sometimes what a lot of those shows turn into. Mm-hmm. This show is really like, there's a day-to-day struggle. And sometimes there's things that, like, parents don't realize bother their kids, and vice versa. I'm sure there's times where maybe you might do something to piss off a friend, a spouse, a parent, and then you're literally bopping along, and they're like, I can't believe she didn't even apologize. How about you didn't even know that there was something to apologize for?
Right. So that sort of takes... That sort of takes me back. It's okay. That sort of takes me back to the casting a little bit. Like, did you know anything about these mother-daughter duos before casting, or was that part of the thought process, or was it more like, oh, these celebrities would be good for the show? I'm sure there's some mother drama there because that's just the way that it is. Like, mothers and daughters have issues, and you knew something would come up.
Well, listen, there was a ton of options for the show, and I think when casting the show, you just wanted to make sure, yes, that every mother and daughter has an issue, and everybody has something. Otherwise, it almost makes you more crazy if you say nothing's wrong, right? Like, oh, I'm perfect, I'm the exception. So the big thing was we just wanted to make sure we had people who had problems that were actually relatable. And I think, like, sometimes, we all get caught up and we start holding people to different standards, when in reality, they're just like us. You know, it's like they have the same issues too. Like, you didn't come to my soccer game, and I love cheerleading. And you're like, oh my God, your mom was like hosting a TV show. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that's still their mom.
And there's still a lot of love there.
And there's a ton of love there. And I think that, like, you know, you don't get a pass because you're a celebrity, and a kid still wants their mom to be just their mom. You know, to a kid, they don't care that their mom's on TV. They just want her to, like, braid her hair and have a slumber party.
Do you think that there was a mother-daughter duo in the cast who was more open than the other ones with sharing the issues in their relationship? Because I saw in the preview, you know, Courtney Stodden, who very famously married
Doug Hutchison,
right,
51-year-old.
At a young age.
She was 16.
She was 16, and in the preview, she says to her mom, you know, like, I didn't know you were going to fall in love with my husband, or something to that effect. You know, were they the duo that was more open than the other duos, or was there another duo that sort of surprised you?
I would say that everybody was completely open. I think it takes some people more time than others to get there. But I would definitely say that it is fair enough that every single person you will learn something about and be shocked to hear what's going on inside their lives or their feelings. Now, that being said, with Courtney especially, you talk about seeing someone like you never saw them before. Like, I always saw Courtney, bleached out blonde, high heels, miniskirts, boobs everywhere, giggling like, you know, an Anna Nicole Smith knockoff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, that's what I thought she was. And then I met her, and I'm like, oh, my God, I want to, like, be her crazy old aunt and take care of her. Like, she's just a girl, in my mind, that would, like, benefit from, like, a big sister or someone just
or maybe
on
a
the
mother,
outside, just giving her, like, well, no, I'm not going to say that because that's for you to judge. But you know what I mean? It's like sometimes people are not always what they seem. Mm-hmm. And I think on this show, you're going to learn about that, like, especially about, like, a girl like Natalie Nunn, too, that's running around yelling, I love it, I want L.A. Mm-hmm. Wait till you see her with her mom. And, like, some of the stuff that she lived through that never came up on, you know, Bad Girls Club. And all of a sudden, this character that you've watched for years just, like, stir the pot, you kind of is pulling at your heartstrings, and you're empathetic, and then you're like, oh, my God, it all makes sense.
Well, I'm definitely excited to watch the show. I love reality television, as Vicki will attest to. And I know that you've worked on a ton of reality shows in your past and throughout your career. Are you a fan of the reality TV genre, or you just like to create that environment, but you don't necessarily watch?
It is literally all I fucking do. It is almost pathetic. You want to talk about a person who is one-dimensional with literally nothing happening? You have met her. I don't watch a scripted show. All I do is watch reality. I email producers that work on other shows, like, what really happened? What happened? I'm calling the network. What happened on that show? Like, they have nothing to do with these shows. But I'm like, what happened that night? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Like, I get so obsessed, and I, like, fall in love with these people. I genuinely do. I think there's something completely courageous about being on reality TV and exposing yourself to it, because it's not something everyone could do. I don't know if I could do it. Like, could I really be me if there was a camera on me? Like, you know, it's not just easy.
Do you ever roll your eyes when you're watching reality TV and the people will complain later, oh, it was the editing, that didn't happen like that? I mean, you know how the sausage gets made, and you know that sometimes things are edited in a certain way, but do you think ultimately people should be responsible for what they say?
Is like, that's like a party I don't go to. Mm-hmm. Because if you talk to anybody on any one of my shows, 9 times out of 10, they'll see something and be like, oh, my God, I can't believe that's on there. And I was like, okay, just to refresh your memory about what actually happened, let's talk about what's not on there. And they're like, copy you, thank you, I owe you an apology, you know, and a thank you. Because I think, like, when you look at everyone's worst moment on TV, know that there's actually 50 really bad moments that were in that same scene that are not on there. And, like, thank God for broadcast standards. Like, all those girls come home from clubs, they do whatever, they're running around the house, we're shooting it.
Would you say that you edit with a sympathetic eye, then? I mean, that you actually do not put the worst moments on in some of your shows?
I think you don't need to, but I also think that sometimes you do need to, and every story has an arc. I think that if all of your characters are unlikable, it won't help your show. Like, it doesn't help your show. You want them to love your characters. But even the best people in the universe are not perfect. And so I may have one week where I'm a colossal mess up and I'm ruining everything for every one of my housemates or or my mom or whatever. And then, you need to show that and then show how it came around, because that's what real life is about. Real life is about not being perfect, making mistakes. It's just what you do with those mistakes. Do you live through it? Do you rise above it? Or do you stay like, a crazy person? And sometimes, I will tell you, people genuinely don't ever see it. So you'll be in the field and you'll be shooting a show and you'll be like, well, it's like this person just does not get it or whatever. And then the show airs and then they call you and go, oh my God, I had no idea. Because I think as people, sometimes it's hard to see yourself.
I understand. I was curious for my last question. I think Erin has another one after me. Is there any reality show out there that you wish you had done?
Oh my God, I do that all the time. I'm like, how am I not doing The Housewives? How am I not doing Newlyweds the first year? Get in line. Like, Marriage Boot Camp. Like, you name it. Like, there's so many shows as a fan that I can't even. The Kardashians is literally like, I can't even. It's like the Holy Grail.
Like, the Kardashians have been with us for 9 years at this point, which is amazing.
It's insane. It's insane. Like, everything down to the other, like, you turn on the TV and like you sit there and I'm like, oh my God, I have the same comforter as Chloe. Like, I feel like slowly I'm turning into one. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't get enough of that.
We'll just call you SallyAnn Kardashian.
Yeah, totally.
So my question, I was looking at your Wikipedia page, as all good journalists and podcast hosts do, and a little tidbit on there was that you were a finalist for the Real World Miami in 1996. Is that true?
Oh, it is true. The Miami season.
Is that still like a hard pill to swallow that they didn't pick you?
I don't know. I always say they saved me from myself, because I think I'd still be running around doing the challenges. Like, I would have been one of those people totally caught up in it, and I mean that in a good way. I for sure would not have been like, oh, that's not for me. I would have fell for the lifestyle more than I think I want to even admit.
That's amazing. You could have been on that season with that was Dan, and then they had that whole shower incident. That was a great season of The Real World. I will say.
It was so crazy.
It was crazy.
I know. And who was the lady, the Latin chick? She got bit by the spider?
Yes. I can't remember her name. Oh, if only it wasn't Rebecca. That's not right. Rebecca was like Seattle.
No, it's not Rebecca.
I checked out after San Francisco. I can't help you.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I still watch Real World every season. I still watch The Bachelor. Like, I'm a purist, and I still watch all the shows, literally.
How do you feel about Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Oh my God, how do I feel about it? It's my favorite one. I literally feel like I quote Richie Wakili more than I care to admit.
So does Vicki.
I'm kind of obsessed with his eyeglasses matching the shirt.
I never noticed that.
Oh my God, that guy has more eyeglasses than anything. My favorite line of Richie is I know stuff. I own gas stations. It's I say that all the time. That is every time people are how do you know that? I'm like, what are you talking about? I know stuff. I own gas stations. I'm obsessed with the Giudices. I love all of it. I love the Melissa Teresa. The Teresa phones home or whatever that special was from.
Teresa checks in.
From prison. Teresa checks in. Are you kidding me? I was all up in it. Joe's conversation with Gia's date to the dance was epic. We definitely watched that on rewind and fast forward about 14 times in a row. Every Sunday night, all I do is make some giant red sauce dinner and watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
SallyAnn, I think I'm going to kick Vicki off the podcast and instead ask you to join me, because you are a woman after my own heart. I love reality TV. I love almost every show you've worked on, and I'm very excited to watch the Mother-Daughter Experiment Celebrity Edition on Lifetime. Premieres March 1st at 10 p.m. And by the way, it was Melissa. Melissa was the name of the Latin woman on Real World
Oh,
Miami.
yeah.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
I Googled that.
I was also a big Ruthie fan when they went to Hawaii. Big fan of Ruthie.
Me too.
Oh, she was the drunk one, right?
Yes.
Okay,
but
I
she
do
went to
remember that.
rehab and she got her life together. Okay, we don't judge.
So, yes, but now she's forever going to be the drunk one.
Thank you, SallyAnn. You know what? The new name of this podcast is TV Hangover Show podcast, starring Erin Medley and SallyAnn Salsano. Vicki, you've been kicked off.
I'll just go back to watching HBO.
Yeah, whatever.
That's fine. Do it. In the meantime, we'll be here talking crap about everything. I love it so much. It's crazy.
That's right. And of course, Vicki and I will be talking more about the Mother-Daughter Experiment Celebrity Edition. Like I said, Lifetime, March 1st at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of TV Hangover Show. Don't forget to like us on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and any other place where podcasts are available. And follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show. Until next week, we'll be watching TV.
So rude.